Coming to Kickstarter this June, Shawn at Death's Door. The man who rules the world takes on the Greek god of death in this action-packed all-new John Haynes comic book. Get your copy of the standard and variant editions of John Haynes at Death's Door and lots of other great stretch goal rewards on Kickstarter this June. I wanted to give everybody an update on the John Haynes at Death's Door comic. And I've gotten the art back from Antonio Baldari, and now the comic is in the hands of the letterer Gons. And while he's working on lettering the comic, I am putting together the preview page, which you can click the link to and sign up for the launch for John Haynes at Death's Door, which will be coming this June. So you can sign up for the preview page by clicking the link in the description box, and you'll be able to be a part of the John Haynes at Death's Door Kickstarter, and I'm hoping you pick up a copy of the first John Haynes comic. Now, while I've been working on the John Haynes at Death's Door comic and the John Haynes at Death's Door Kickstarter, I have been picking up comics on Kickstarter to read and review for the channel. And one of the comics I wanted to pick up was Thistleheart, because I had previously picked up the 3 comics of Goth Ghost Girl by John Shillham Jr. and Ovation Comics, and all 3 of those comics were absolutely fantastic. And when I saw the cover for Thistleheart, I was extremely intrigued by it. Now, your Thistleheart is one of those fantasy comics that comic companies like DC used to produce under its Vertigo imprint, and this one would really fit right in on the Vertigo imprint. And as I was looking at Luigi Baracelli's absolutely beautiful artwork, I was really reminded of many of the 1990s Tim Burton movies I used to watch, like Batman, Batman Returns, and Edward Scissorhands. The dark visuals of Thistleheart are very intriguing, and I could easily see a director like Tim Burton really building a fantastic world and bringing it to life on screen based on the very beautiful imagery from this comic. I mean, the artwork here really reminds me a lot of Brian Bolland, the legendary UK artist, and the story here really was one that I found to be quite intriguing and quite compelling. Now, the Thistleheart story starts out with a very interesting 7-panel layout of what could be a dream, or it could be a foreshadowing of the future. And at this very interesting opening page opens up the story very interesting, creating a lot of questions and leaving us asking more questions. So this is a very strong first page as related to building up the story and giving us this image of these 3 ravens who are basically creating this portal. And then we wake up to Thistleheart and wonder if this is a dream or a foreshadowing of reality. Now, as we get to meet Thistleheart in a very beautifully done splash page with just fantastic artwork, we get to see that your Thistleheart is a character I know a director like Tim Burton would definitely enjoy working with. And as I was reading Thistleheart's first words, I could imagine Johnny Depp voicing the Thistleheart character, and I could easily see Winona Ryder basically being his partner on this quest. Now, I liked the visual design of this witch character. It's very gothy and witchy, and the visual of her costume was one of the things that did draw me in when I was thinking about picking up this Kickstarter. Now, as this story goes on, we see that this Thistleheart character is on a quest to go back to this bramble where he was supposed to be an attendant of it when in his previous human form. And as they go on this quest, we learn some very intriguing things about this witch as she's drinking her potion, which flashes us back to the days when Thistleheart was a human being. Now, one of the things I like about the Thistleheart design is that it not only reminds me of Edward Scissorhands, it also reminds me of the DC villain from the 70s, the Floronic Man. Now, if you're an old school DC fan like me, you know how interesting the Floronic Man's visual design was, and your Thistleheart really captures the spirit of both of those designs and takes them up a notch. Now, as we're going into the origin of Thistleheart, again, I could easily see this translating into a Tim Burton movie, and I could easily see your Johnny Depp in his prime playing this role. And I could easily see your Winona Ryder again being this witch, and her having Drew Barrymore in the background as the sister. It just really feels like something straight out of a Tim Burton movie. So as that we're going into his origin, we're learning more about things, because the potion that she drank with the I'm not going to give too much away, because I want you to get this comic for yourself from Ovation Comics, and I want you to help out other independent comic creators who put together fantastic work like this. And as we're going on this quest to the Bramble, we're learning more about these witches and why they want to come to this place, and we're also learning more about the three ravens and their connection to Thistleheart. So there's a lot of intriguing story points in this world that John Shillam Jr. is building, and these story points are downright compelling and really draw you into this world of Thistleheart. This first issue does a fantastic job of introducing you to the Thistleheart character, the witches that he's on the journey with, giving us their backstory and showing us why they are on this quest. More importantly, it gives us a reason to care about all of the characters, and it does it all in just 22 pages. This is what old school comic storytelling was all about, really putting together a very compelling story in just one issue, and using that one issue to leave a powerful first impression on the reader to the point where they want to continue the story. And I definitely would want to continue the story of Thistleheart, because this first issue was so good at building this fantastic and compelling world, and it really just takes you away to another place. And that's what good fantasy comics do. They allow you to escape to another world. They allow you to escape to a place where you're going to see a whole different society and a whole different culture. And that was one of the most fantastic things about the Thistleheart comic. You feel like you're being taken away to a place that is completely different from our world. And as that story builds with its twists and turns, you actually want to see more of this world. You want to learn more about Thistleheart's past. You want to learn more about these witches, and you want to learn more about what this Bramble is all about and why there are so many people fighting for this world. It answers the critical question of why should we care in a perfect way. I mean, that's one of the three questions you have to ask as a writer before you even put a finger to the keyboard. And those are: who is the main character, what do they want, and why should we care? And I definitely would care to read more about the world of Thistleheart, which is an absolutely fantastic comic, and it does a great job of opening us up, taking us into the world of this Thistleheart character, who really, again, reminds me so much of everything I love about Tim Burton movies and everything I just love about the dark, cerebral visuals of Tim Burton back from the 90s. I mean, this concept I could, again, see Tim Burton really just having fun with as related to making a Thistleheart movie, and I can, because it's just so much fun as a comic, it just really just comes to life, And I really, again, would recommend you pick up Thistleheart. This, again, is one of the best comics of 2022, and I definitely would recommend you pick up this comic because you will not be disappointed by this very intriguing fantasy comic, and you won't be disappointed by the world that is built in Thistleheart, and you'll want to see more of this world in each issue that comes after this. I'm just counting down the days until the next Kickstarter for Thistleheart because I want to put in a pledge for this comic, and I really want you to put in your pledge for this comic because the writing here is absolutely fantastic, and it's again, an absolutely fantastic comic I want to see more readers pick up. I mean, his Goth Ghost Girl was basically like Batman the Animated Series in terms of really good and really the best writing, and Thistleheart is on just that same level. And again, I really want to see more people pick up great comics, and Thistleheart is one of the best fantasy comics on the market right now. Now, I'm planning on getting John Haynes at Death's Door out this June, and I'm hoping that you guys will be out here to put in a pledge for John Haynes at Death's Door when it's released. So the book is almost on its way to heading to the printers. Once I get it back from the letterer, we're going to be going to print, and you'll be getting your copies right after the Kickstarter ends. So everything is on track for you to be able to get John Haynes at Death's Door. And until then, you can pick up your Thistleheart, I believe, at Ovation Comics, and you can pick up books in the John Haynes series on Amazon.com in paperback and Kindle format. And you can also find John Haynes books on Smashwares, the iBook Store, and Google Play. And if you want to see me do more comic review videos like this for great comics like Thistleheart, you can donate to the Patreon, the PayPal, or the Cash App, and that'll help me be able to put in pledges for fantastic comics like Thistleheart and share them with you. That's all I have to say for this video. You can comment, rate, and subscribe. Now available in paperback and e-readers, Spellbound, A Darker Shade of Black. Get your copy today at your favorite online bookseller.